Awesome. All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Town of Dudley, Massachusetts Economic Development Committee meeting. Today is Tuesday, May 21st, 2024. It is 10:33. We'll begin our meeting. We'll start off with the call to order. Our Pledge of Allegiance, if you could join me. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks so much. And I will just make note that this meeting is being recorded. First off, if everybody's received the minutes for the last meeting dated April 16th, 2024, has everybody had a chance to review them? If so, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next up, we have our first guest. We're very excited. Shelley Gillis is from the SBA office in Boston. Welcome again, Shelley. We're just looking forward to see what you have to present to us today. On behalf of the committee, we're just very, very excited because we're just, it's our mission to try to help, small businesses, any businesses, and, in the area. So if you'd like to introduce yourself, and the floor is yours.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and good morning, everybody. I am Shelley Gillis. I'm Outreach and Marketing Specialist with the Massachusetts District Office of the Small Business Administration. So I'm super happy to be here, too. My main goal today is really just to connect with this community. Our office is in Boston, but we cover the entire state, and so we want to make sure that we are out there meeting people where you are, and trying to help in any way that we can, because that is our mission, is also to support small businesses. So I wanted to say just a couple of, brief items that maybe you've seen, but, since the start of the Biden-Harris administration, there have been over 17 million new business applications. It's been an average of 440,000 new business applications since the start of the Biden-Harris administration, and that's 45% higher than the average of the prior 4 years. There's really been a substantial growth in entrepreneurship among women, Latinos, and Black Americans in particular. So, we're really trying to make sure that we serve all businesses, but also trying to, get out there into particularly underserved communities that haven't been, just to try to help them, I should say. So, this is just a really brief presentation. Actually, it's a longer presentation, but I'll make it really brief. Of what I do when I go out and to present to small business owners, to entrepreneurs. This is just a little bit about what the SBA does. So we are the go-to resource for small businesses. We were created in 1953. We help people in all phases of business. So we help them get started, we help them grow, and continue to manage the business. We help in 4 main areas. The first one is we provide access to free business counseling. We also provide access to capital through our SBA loan program. We help businesses grow by getting them into and assisting with federal government contracting. And then we also provide disaster assistance. So I have a couple announcements of that as well. This is just a slide. These logos are all pretty recognizable. These are all people who started out as small businesses. And I'm always on the lookout for success stories. So if you guys have a success story of a business that, is thriving and doing well, we'd love to hear about it. So please let me know. Everything we do and everything we have to offer is on our webpage, and this is the landing page of our sba.gov/MA. Is our website. We want to make sure businesses in the state need to have the state regulations and all the state information. So we want to make sure we drive traffic to that area. Entrepreneurs and business owners are very busy. We have a lot of learning available 24/7 on our website. So people can go to the website, look at the free online courses and workshops and all the learning tools that we have at our learning center, and also on the Ascent platform, which was developed for women-owned small businesses, but certainly anybody can use this as well. So we have 2 different platforms that offer all kinds of learning for people, and they can do it, anytime at night or day. Our resource partner network, these are all approved and funded by the SBA. Just in a nutshell, this is just
Bless you.
Bless you. The SCORE organization, all the SCORE mentors that act, as one-on-one business counselors with business owners. We consistently, constantly, drive traffic to the SCORE organization and also the small business development centers that are out there. Those are the ones that are affiliated with, colleges and universities across the state. And then the Center for Women in Enterprise. There's one in Boston and one in Worcester now. They moved from Westboro. And then our Veteran Business Outreach Center of New England. Certainly our veteran business owners, we connect them with those resources too. Businesses that are looking to export, we work very closely with the Massachusetts Export Center. And then Apex Accelerator, used to be PTAC. Those are the folks that help with the government contracting piece as well. Access to capital, I think, the SBA is very well known for SBA loans, but we do offer a variety of loan programs. The SBA guarantee is, comes into play if a business owner can go to a lender and, can qualify for a loan on their terms, that's great. If they don't quite qualify, the lender would turn to SBA because we provide a guarantee of a certain percentage depending on the type of loan that they have. We provide a guarantee to the lender, and it makes it more attractive for the lender to say yes to the business. So it is a very important piece of service, if you will, that the SBA offers. And I don't want to go too deep into the weeds on this, but lenders find that very attractive, obviously, because then, if things should go south, the SBA is there to, to provide at least some sort of a guarantee to them.
Are there any limits on the amount that you will guarantee?
Yes, there are. And on my next couple slides, I can show you that. The SBA-backed loans can be used on, a lot of different things, and depending on the type of loan, people can use it to, launch, to start or buy a business. They can use it for revolving credit or working capital for day-to-day expenses. The different types of loans they can use to renovate and expand facilities, to buy inventory or machinery, and to purchase land or real estate. And we also have some export loans as well. So the 7A is our most versatile loan product. And the maximum loan size on this is $5 million. The guarantee on a loan below $150,000, the SBA is guaranteeing 85% of that loan. If it's over $150,000, we're guaranteeing 75% of that loan. And then the big news this year is there are, at least until the end of September, 0 fees on loans that are less than $1 million. And that's 0 fees to the borrower and 0 fees to the lender. So that's pretty big news. The SBA Express loan is kind of under that 7A umbrella, and on that one we guarantee 50% of the loan up to $350,000. So I know I'm going through this fast, but I can also send this to you afterwards. The microloans, which we were just talking about, these are direct loans up to $50,000. These often include technical assistance, so there are particular micro lenders out there that we often refer people to. These funds can be used for working capital, for inventory, for refinancing a business, and for credit card debt as well. And then the 504 loans that we were just talking about too. So these are great for capital assets, long-term financing for major fixed assets. So these, the lender covers up to 50%. The certified development company takes care of 40%, and then the company itself is putting in at least 10% equity. Okay, line. So just a variety of products that we offer. We have great loan and lender tools. We have a district office lender report on our website that actually shows, I think it goes back 10 years, all the different lending institutions, the number of loans that they've made, and the average size of those loans. So that can help people. That's up to date, I think, monthly or so. So people can actually see, in real time if, lenders in their area or somebody that they already work with is doing SBA loans. And then our Lender Match, is a great way for business owners to find lenders. It's basically Match.com, but for businesses and lenders. The person looking for funds, goes in and puts in some information about how much they're looking for, what they're going to use it for, and then the lenders are in there, opting in if they're interested in that. And so people can actually go into, it's now housed in the My SBA loan portal. And so, if you've applied to this, you put in your information, it's not an actual application. It's just signaling to the lenders that you're looking to have a discussion. And then your messages are in there from the lenders that are opting in to talk with you. And then you can have a conversation with them, agree on the terms, and then apply for the loan. Okay. We do have some funding from private investors through our small business investment companies. These are private companies that are licensed and regulated by the SBA, and they invest in companies in the form of debt and equity. We have some grant funding in Massachusetts. The STEP grant, the State Trade Expansion Program grant, the SBA grants to the state of Massachusetts. They're overseeing the disbursement of those funds to help folks export. There are some community organization grants that we've done in the past. As well, similarly, the SBA is granting money to the organization, and the organization is using it in support of their small business community. The SBIR, STTR grants, that's, if you've heard of America's Seed Fund, that's for companies that are in research and development, looking to, and the SBA looks to, to help those folks as well. It's 11 federal agencies, I believe, that are involved in that. Pretty competitive, but great for technology-focused small businesses. In artificial intelligence, clean energy, water, education technology, a lot of different things. Okay. Contracting, as I said, it's a great way for businesses to grow by getting into contracting. And the United States government is one of the largest buyers of goods and services in the world. Every federal agency has at least a 23% mandate to spend 23% of their budget with small businesses. So every agency is always on the lookout for businesses to do business with. So we can help people in that regard. Businesses can certify in one of these different types of certifications. They can certify as a woman-owned business, for example. They can certify for the Hub Zone program, which is historically underutilized business zone. But these percentages here, which I'm just noticing, I feel like some of these are off a bit, but I have to update this slide. The women-owned, for example, 5% of the contracts are set aside for specifically women-owned businesses. So we're really trying to help these different businesses, stand apart so that they can better do business with the federal government. So we have different programs to help with that. These are all the different agencies and how much money they spent in fiscal year 2022. It's not all Department of Defense. It's a lot of civilian agencies as well. And contracting, we buy everything from paper clips to jet airplanes and kind of everything in between. So businesses that you might not even think would be able to contract with the federal government actually are able to. Things from, a woman baking cookies in her home is now selling them to, commissaries and I think at Otis Air Force Base and things like that. And then a company that was doing, they had a sewing business, and now they've contracted with the National Park Service to embroider all their patches, embroidery for, different branches of the military and things like that. So, it's kind of out of the box thinking, but the first thing we tell businesses is, find out if the federal government is buying what you're selling, goods and services, because we certainly contract for a lot of services as well. So we have a place on our website for people to look for that. What I've noticed over the last year is that, there's a lot of interest in contracting. So that's kind of, the people in our office who talk about contracting are in great demand. So just letting you know that. We also have a surety bond program, so for folks who are contracting, if they need a surety bond, we have those available as well. And then international trade and exporting, 96% of consumers live outside the United States. So another great way for businesses to grow is to be able to export their goods or services anywhere outside the United States, and so we can help people with that as well. There's a lot of assistance with the export assistance centers, the small business development centers. That state trade expansion program that I mentioned is really key in helping people find buyers internationally. A lot of people use the STEP grant program to attend a trade show where they can make connections globally, and different things like that. And then of course export funding, as I mentioned. The Export Center, they're across the whole state, but certainly virtual appointments are happening as well. And then disaster relief, it's estimated 25% of businesses don't reopen after a major disaster. So we want to make sure that businesses are preparing for disaster. But should it happen, we do provide billions of dollars in low-interest, long-term disaster loans that help not just small businesses, but also homeowners, renters, and nonprofits. Those cover a variety of things. And I did bring, there was just a new declaration that occurred last week that does include Worcester County. For flooding that occurred last September 11th through the 13th, they've now declared there's a presidential declaration, and so I have some information about that, and we're actually opening a couple of disaster centers, so I'll give you guys copies of those flyers just so you have that information available for your business owners and anybody who needs that. And then this is how to connect with us. As I said, everything we do is on our sba.gov/MA website. But you can follow us on LinkedIn for kind of our up-to-date activities and events as well. And then this is my information too. So I know that went by really fast. I meant to make that more of a conversation than it was, I guess. Do you have any questions about any of that?
Any questions from the committee?
Yeah, I was curious about, you had indicated that in the last 3 years, applications or loan approvals have been up compared to the previous time frame. Why is that?
Well, that's a good question. So the new applications are 90% higher than pre-pandemic. So, I don't know for certain why it is. It could be because of the pandemic and people have just, decided to, do these new things. But I also know that, we have a big mandate to, to get out there and try to, help and support these small business owners. I forgot to mention, so I just came to the SBA in August of last year. So I only have a short tenure with the agency, but my understanding is, prior to me coming there, there was webinar after webinar after webinar talking to, towns and communities and business owners, helping them through the pandemic and getting through, all the the difficulties and the iterations of the COVID EIDL loans and the PPP loans, and making sure that people had access to all of that information and helping them as well. And then since then, we've really been trying to get out into the communities and do what we've been calling capital matchmakers, going into different communities and having, you know, lenders come in and all kinds of resource partners come in, and inviting in all the business owners in the area, and you know, just really kind of a big resource fair, and just trying to make connections and help people. So when I first started last fall, our district director, Bob Nelson, said, you know, we've never done something in, you know, the Webster Dudley area. You know, can we try to get in there and make some contacts and make some connections and see if we can make something happen there? So that is the primary reason for me being here, is to, as I said, just to connect and see if there's something, you know, maybe something you have going on, and we can come and you know, get in front of business owners, or maybe we can plan something together. But what I have discovered is, you know, if you build it, they will come. We have gone to, you know, various different communities over the state, and, you know, just advertising it and having people come in, and you know, it's not rocket science. You know, the hardest thing I think we find is finding a space, and then, you know, the lenders are absolutely happy to come. The resource partners are always happy to come, and then business owners, you know, show up in droves, honestly, depending on where we are. But you know, we've had several of these over the last few months, and even the one we thought would be small on the Cape still had 100 people show up to the resource fair. So, but I didn't really answer your question. I don't have an answer.
Yeah, no,
to your
what was
question.
curious to me is that you had indicated that that there was an increase, and I think I heard you say use current administration versus previous administration, and I was curious about why you make that comment.
Oh, I'm just reading from our press release. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned a couple of grant programs. Are any of those suitable for municipalities, or are those primarily geared towards businesses?
So, the one, currently, I feel like we don't have something like that right now, but I think right before I came, there was something that was for municipalities. So, I think that's constantly changing, and, you know, we try to do a good job of getting the word out on those things, you know, so when there is money there, you know, to apply. I know we had a community navigator grant. One of them went to, it wasn't the city of Brockton, I think it was the Cape Verdean Association of Brockton, and another one was awarded to the New Bedford Economic Development Council. I don't know who else applied to that, because, as I said, that was before I came, but so those funds were dispersed, and then those communities are helping to assist their business communities. So that is something we do. Currently, I don't believe we have something right now.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Todd, have you ever worked with the SBA
Well, I was
before?
gonna just, yes, and I had mentioned earlier, I work at a local bank. I've been worked there for a number of years, and I'm a lender. And I've had a lot of experience with doing SBA loans, in particular the 504, which is for owner-occupied real estate. You know, one of the big things that a lot of business owners, like if you're going like a conventional commercial loan, it's usually 25% down minimum, which a lot of times can be a major roadblock. But as you had mentioned, you know, it's either 10% usually is the money that's in, or 15% if it's a specialty use property. That the banks do love that because of the fact that, as you had pointed out, the banks are only on the hook for 50%, you know, in regards to exposure. You know, we work with a number of different CDCs, which are companies that are, you know, linked with the SBA, but they'll do 40%, and then, you know, our borrowers would have to come in with 10% plus closing costs. It's about cash flow. It's about having them preserve a lot of their cash to be able to, you know, to own something. Another piece, though, that I found that was really, is also the smaller, like the 7A program is very popular. Express for the smaller loans. You know, the lending landscape is quite interesting right now, because there are a lot of banks that are kind of taking their foot off the gas, so to speak, in regards to looking at things, especially like startups. I mean, that can be almost like oh, wait a second, you're just beginning. But to know that there are other resources out there, you know, because most banks, if they, you know, will go to the SBA when they, you know, it looks pretty good, but there might be a collateral shortfall. There might be something, because I know the SBA has to exhaust all collateral options, so if you own your own house or any other type of assets and things like that. But to me, I've seen it firsthand help small businesses. We currently, you had mentioned a couple of things here. You know, I've been sending people over to Clark University. They have a great team of people over there that helps from everything from business plans to, I mean, just it's amazing. You know, it's just to have the options that and it's a lot of these are micro loans. They're like up to $50,000 that mean the world to these small business owners, just to get them, you know, on the, you know, just to get them started. I have also seen post-COVID an increase in the number of customers that call that are startups. You know, they're just, for one reason or another, they're starting a new business, from coffee shops to any type of, you know, yoga studios to this, that, and the other. The list goes on, and that is, you know, and I deal a lot with small businesses in my role. I love the idea of putting together a resource fair. I mean, I've heard Bob Nelson speak on numerous occasions. You know, I think it would be great, and as a committee to look into, because we have a number of different great local banks here that are community driven, and I'm sure, to your point, that getting them there would not be an issue. When you say resource partners, you're talking about like other, like CDCs or
Anybody really, but the SBDC, the
Yep.
school, you know, SCORE, the Center for Women in Enterprise, but anybody who supports businesses
Yep.
is somebody we consider a partner. So.
And then also just to have, and you know, you know, just reach out to small business owners in Dudley. Maybe, I don't know if this is something that we could do jointly with a neighboring town in regards to location. You know, to have 100 people show up, not sure if here, but we are very fortunate, and I can't speak for Nichols College, but we have Nichols College right up the road, and one of our committee members is the Dean of the Graduate Studies, and we have another member of our committee who is a Nichols grad, or currently going, I forget, sorry about that.
Graduate.
Graduate. So I mean, it's just we have a great connection there, and I think that if we could put something together, that might be something that maybe the committee could look at as a great resource, just to show all these folks out here that there's things out there,
Right.
you know, and then and whether it's my bank or another bank or one of these micro lenders that might be able to help some folks, I think it would be awesome. And you know, maybe we can discuss this as a committee, but I think that would be a great idea.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Just to let you know, I'm on my way to Webster too, to talk with the folks next.
Oh, you are?
So, you know, I don't know how closely you work with Webster, but
Yeah, we could easily. Great, I mean, a huge fan of working with the SBA. Anybody else? Anybody have any questions, or? Yes,
May I ask a
Jane.
question? Related to Bill's question, the project that we're working on for the main commercial area in town, one aspect of it is a facade improvement program. And it wouldn't be funding directly to the town, but to property owners in that district. Would the SBA back something like that?
well, as far as grants,
Or
I would
loans,
say no,
or-
but loans, yes, I mean, I think it depends on, you know, yes, I don't see why they wouldn't.
Okay.
But I think it would be, you know, would it be to the small business owner or to,
Probably the property owner,
yeah.
or depending on
So-
what type of lease the business owner might have with the property owner.
I'd have to find out for certain. I'm not one of the lender specialists, but.
Okay.
But I can certainly find out.
Awesome. Great.
Great.
Anybody else? All right.
So
Well,
I will leave you guys, I'd love to stay and listen.
Nope.
I'll leave you guys the information on the disaster declaration, the most recent disaster
Okay.
declaration.
Good.
Yeah.
And some of my business cards too.
And would it be possible to get your, the presentation emailed over to us as well?
Absolutely.
That'd be
Yep.
great. Well, Shelley, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate your time here today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Oops.
All righty. Well, next up, folks.
Thank you.
Next up, we have our friends Jane and Victoria from the Central Mass Regional Planning Commission, if I got that right.
Yes.
Welcome back again.
Thank you.
The floor is yours.
I know that Victoria had sent out a survey for the board members on your preferences for different aspects of the streetscape design, as far as lighting and benches and planters, or whether you wanted trees. I know a few of you did answer it. I didn't know if we wanted to open the floor to discuss what the preferences were on that, so we can plug some of this information into the streetscape design.
I know I filled it out. Did any? Okay. Good.
Okay.
Do you have, is it worthwhile to go through those results, or do you want to wait for more people to fill it out?
We can wait. I think it's
Okay.
just a couple more responses.
Okay, fine.
Might be.
Oh, you want to send it out again, just in case
Okay.
it got buried. Yeah.
We can do that. I'll hand it over to Victoria.
All right, so just a quick review of everything that's been happening. It seems like a lot has happened this past month. So the EOHLC has deemed that the 10,000 that we originally had planned out as the task for the welcome sign is not eligible anymore for that type of expense. So we had to take a new avenue on what we wanted to do with that money, or else we would lose it. So after talking with our team, we talked with Carrie, we talked with Joe, we talked with Bill, and we decided that a foundational like wayfinding initiative would be a good route to go through. It wouldn't be a full report, but just to get a good foundation of to get that started with. So with that, we have a focus on the logo, marketing, and wayfinding. Questions that we want to ask with you guys is that what destination should be included within our gateway area? What exactly are we pointing people to? We want to also talk about themes, color themes, and then also the preference on signage type. Quick update is that the deadline for this project is June 30th. So it's coming up pretty soon. We're at the end of a way to start creating that summary report of everything that we've done and to really bring everything together. So what I have here created is some color themes that we can start thinking of. I try to think of a lot of stuff that what Dudley is and how our previous meetings and conversations have been. So I did some historic colors here. I found this actually on the historic website, and beautiful painting. The colors are very vibrant. It has that nice orange red to it, some greens, a nice tan, and then that bluish gray color. And again, this would be for our signage. So our wayfinding signage, this is our theme colors of what there's a trend of everything. There's the same pattern of what we're doing. The next historic was going with the old mill complex. And this is something, looking at the colors here, I thought that nice gray brown was like really complementary to the bricks and all that good stuff. We also have the community colors. I saw the high school could be a big thing, the regional high school. And then we also have Nichols College. I feel like that's a big thing, and they have like nice prominent colors. And then we can always go with what we already have, our existing identity variation. So with Dudley, we have that nice blue, the yellow, the orange. And this is open for discussion. Which one is like going more towards your guys' eye? Which one do you think really represents Dudley and would catch people's attention?
Well,
A lot of options.
I don't know if I want to be responsible for making that decision.
I can send this out too, and
Yeah, I just, I always like the historical piece, but, I mean, it's just,
excuse me.
does anybody have any thoughts from the committee? Ellen?
We have the 300th anniversary coming up in 2032. I think that's 2032.
Yes.
It would be nice to incorporate that in the sign.
I love that. 2032.
Yeah.
Just an idea.
I like that.
I like the idea about the historical aspects of the town.
And we can look in bringing historic with new as well as kind of looking into that as well, where we blend in something that's existing, like our existing identity, with the historic colors too, and we can find a nice medium between the two as well. I like that. All right, so moving on to our sign preferences. So with wayfinding signage systems, they can benefit from using distinct shapes to differentiate them from regular road signs. And so this is what we need to consider when we're choosing different signage. We need clarity, fabrication. So I put a couple designs here that I created from just to give you an idea. And these can even go towards our lampposts too, our lighting that we were talking about earlier. And whatever you guys think would work best. We also have to think about like cars when they're passing by. We want to think how much information are we trying to put on there too, so that will determine on the size of the signage as well. If it's just like a few stuff, I think the nice banner on the far left is nice, or even the arrows to point them directly where to go, so it's a nice walking experience for the people who are pedestrians.
The other thing we've got to factor in with the signage is, how many we want and what the cost is.
Exactly, and that will go with the destination as well. I wanted to break down exactly everything that we have around here of what we really want to point out in the wayfinding, and we can create a list of where that is and then map them on the map and see how much that would require, how many wayfinding signage there would be.
I know I've had some feedback from some folks that are non-Dudley residents, that when they drove up West Main Street and we have the banners celebrating our veterans, pictures of the veterans, how awesome that was. So, but I like it. I think a combination of that.
Yeah.
Like when we come into the gateway, people need to know, boom, okay, well, you're in Dudley, but like if there was a walkway or paths and things like that, or maybe in other different areas, like, okay, this way to Nichols College, it's interesting because the only time I ever really see things like pointing the way is when they have like orientation, and they might like throw actual signs out, pointing people, to come.
Exactly.
So I just missed it, but yeah, maybe a combination of it. That's my thought.
One thing you might look at is the Quinnebog Rail Trail has some identification signage. So that's already in place. Maybe there's some color schemes there that would make sense.
I like that, yeah. Okay, so then we're moving on to back with that placemaking strategies. With this, we're really thinking technical urbanism would be the best type of way for us to start off, because we want the residents of Dudley to see, yeah, they filled out the survey, now they need to see something that's happening, because we don't want this pattern to be like, nothing ever happens. We've read those comments where they're saying, yeah, but nothing really goes on. We put our words, but we're not really seeing change. So technical urbanism is that fast and low costing fixes. We want to focus on improvements on crosswalks. So I noticed on the survey, the majority of the people were talking about traditional painted lines or pavers could be an avenue that we can really take. Also sidewalk reconstruction, which adds that ADA compliant, and then compliant with curb ramps as well. Facade improvement program, which we were talking about. This is something that we can go a little more deeper in. We've learned that there's the program could be a short term, so it's usually could be about 2 years, and what they do is you really just narrow in working on requests and applications with property owners and facilitators. It's trying to get with the vendors and contractors, working out payments, grants, and loans. This is a fast thing to do. It's something that Dudley can focus on just for 2 years, just to get that ball rolling with the property owners and in this ideal area of the gateway. And so lastly, I just want to talk about what's coming up. We plan on, we're already in the process of 3 of these, and then we plan to get started on the last one. So we're developing the conceptual streetscape design. We are developing the sign and facade improvement design guidelines and developing a trails and walkability plan. What we are about to get started pretty soon, starting this month actually, is developing that summary report, especially with the deadline coming up. We want to bring everything that we have done together. And then to close it off, I just want to give you guys some really amazing news. Jane has actually submitted to the community project funding for a temporary modular bridge. And this is actually really big. If we can get that, we know the bridge is a big thing for Dudley. It's an eyesore at the moment, and I know the bridge can cost a lot of money. This is just something that we can do now if we can get that money and add this modular bridge. So if you want to,
Yeah, it's not the West Main, it's actually the Brandon Road, the mill race and bridge over the French River. So they used to be called federal earmarks, they now call them community project funding. It has been submitted into committee and is under review. So within a month or so, we should hear back from them. I mean, there's not a guarantee of funding, but it's made it to this step, so we're really hopeful for that. And I know that that was another comment we saw frequently on the survey, is replace the bridge. You know, it limits access to businesses, emergency vehicle access. People commented on the survey about only the West Main Street Bridge being open and causing traffic issues on West Main. So this would be big if it happens.
Wow.
I would like to compliment Jane. She did a fabulous job pulling that together. There was an intense time pressure problem.
Wow.
And a lot of work was involved, and doing the narrative and the write-up, and then getting letters of support. And we got some great help from Time Bond to provide estimates for the cost of that. And so it made it in, which
Yes,
we're
it
very
did.
hopeful
Thank you.
that it'll get to the funding stage. But so it was really just a out of the blue kind of occurrence that we jumped on, and with Jane's talk, we were able to get it submitted to Representative Neal.
That's great
I
news.
give credit to Bill and probably the town administrator, assistant town administrator, for getting some of the letters. And then Carrie, who you know, who's working on the site-specific economic development project, she has done her networking and gotten several other letters. So in total, we submitted a letter from MassDOT on the condition of the bridge and why it had to be torn down, and 9 other letters of support.
Right.
Wow, thank you very much. And to your point, I mean, I do remember it being mentioned in the survey. To show that it's being acted upon, I think is a huge statement, to all the residents. Thank you.
Yeah, and with the area that you guys cover, to think that Dudley's on the radar, which we know because we see you every month, but it's very nice. Thanks.
You're welcome. My pleasure. I'm excited.
Wow. Huh.
So we're gonna move on to the survey. All right, so with this, we sent out to the committee members. Like we said, we will resend that out for people who haven't done it yet. And within this survey, we really wanted to talk about the street design. We want to get your vision on here. So with the question 1, we're asking on the types of material you prefer for crosswalks in the gateway area, and you're able to choose any of these. From the results that I've seen so far is we have some for traditional painted lines and for the pavers as mentioned in the PowerPoint. So we have for this one and for the pavers here. All right, on the next one, what is the committee's opinion on curb extensions? We need to apply these. Could these work? These could work, but not too sure, not at all. And then other where you can add some comments as well if you like. Right here you can see for the curb extensions, this is really tackling more on that ADA compliant, making it a little bit of a shorter walk. We then tackle on the idea of designing for light or post design as well for the gateway area. So we have some artistic or sculptural features, traditional ornate style, modern and sleek, eco-friendly, and just that minimalist functional design within the survey so far at the moment. It's kind of like a split decision at the moment, but it looks like traditional ornate style is the top one, which is this one right here. And I think it does go with the style of that classic New England style here. You already see some in Webster, so it kind of like just flows through if we do that. I added some pictures here on different types of street design features that we can add: murals, lighting, planters, benches, trash cans, and trees. Within this as well, there was details about pricing, just to give you an idea of how expensive some of the stuff would be, and just so you can take that into consideration. With this, I asked you to rank them from 1 being the highest preference with 5 being the lowest preference. And what you really do is you move it up and down, or you can use the arrows to see how you want it. So there was planters along the street, we have trees along the street, hiding power lines, decorative street lighting, public art installation, permeable paving, benches, and trash receptacles right here. So along with those, you can see that one of the highest, most expensive would be hiding those power lines we have to bring into consideration. I know we've mentioned about those, but that could always be something a little bit later. And then since we really want to focus on that technical urbanism, we should be looking more towards like the planters. What is something that people can see now? So there's the benches and all that good stuff. And then lastly, we asked the questions on the inclusions of awnings or other projections, if they should be exceeding the right-of-way. So please note that the building code mandate is vertical clearance of the 8 feet. So we had should be included, unsure, not sure at all. So like I said, we've only had 4 responses so far. So I feel like we just need a little bit more information before we can really conduct a full idea of what you guys are looking for. Hopefully we can break this down even more. If you guys have more questions too about the cost, I'm more than happy to create a spreadsheet as well and send that out, and you guys can see it a little bit more other than in the writing, because I know it can sometimes get a little too dense that way. So let me know and I can always create that out.
Thank you very much.
Now, I'm assuming the cost would be grant funded, so cost may not be a big factor for us
Right.
if it's grant funded. If the town had to pay for it, it would be, of course, but it would be I would be interested to know the relative costs of those various options.
Awesome. Yeah, me as well. I will do the survey when I get back to my office.
Perfect.
So the deadline is coming up.
Yes, Tricia's sending out the extension to June.
Okay, good. So we should have a draft report for the next meeting,
Yes.
hoping.
Yes, and then we'll
And,
finalize it after
so
comments.
the committee would need to review that carefully, get comments back, because the deadline would be June 30, so not a lot of time to digest and talk about it, but we've been getting a lot of good information all along, so hopefully it's starting to coalesce in everybody's head about,
Yeah.
what we want to do here, so.
Yeah, I just can't thank you both enough. I mean, so grateful. I mean, the amount of work that you've already done on everything, and I do apologize for not filling out that survey. I do remember getting the email. Yeah, it's all on me.
Chairman, oh my God.
Yeah, we didn't know. Disclosure, I want to out myself. But just, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm feeling like we're very close to all of a sudden, like, having people in the town to see things come to life, and once they start to see even just the small little things, they'll be like, wow, what is going on? That we have a sense of that, wow, we're actually accomplishing things. But I feel like we're really, we're doing this on your shoulder. Like you're the one that if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be able to do any of this. So I can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
So,
And I think that, as far as the preferences go, that we're also looking at incremental changes. So it's like striping might be the first phase for the side crosswalks, but a later phase when more funding is in might be the pavers. And like you said, so that the public can see some changes. You might have some small planters for now, but eventually street trees.
Yes.
right.
So the striping, just as an example, I mean, so this is a state highway, right? Isn't there an obligation by the state to do that? I mean, I've seen them do that in
It's a local road.
Webster. Oh, it's a,
So where
Gateway's
we're
local
at,
road.
where we're looking at, it's the local road, and then moving more down, it starts the state highway, so.
Yeah, there's a state highway begin sign, maybe 200 feet west of the Schofield intersection.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but
Yeah, yeah.
it is,
No,
it is under town jurisdiction, so we can sort of decide how we want to handle it.
Okay.
But there are obviously, you know,
Yeah. So then
guidelines you
that
have
would,
to follow.
you know, beg the next question, I guess, that, you know, the highway department, and I know they didn't get funding in this past go-round, so that may be why, it's not, you know, it's not what we want. But I certainly understand, like, etched concrete and things like that would be exceptional, but for just standard striping, that I think would be a budget item in the highway department's budget. But
Sure.
Anyway, yeah.
Awesome.
I'm excited though.
Very
So-
excited.
We'll send out that survey again, but like we said, the next meeting, get ready to read that draft. We would
Yep.
love to hear the comments and all that good stuff.
Okay.
I'm really excited for it. It's coming to an end and we get to see it all together.
Yeah, wow. Thank you. I mean, thank you enough. Does anybody else on the committee
Yeah, I
have
just
something to add?
wanted to comment on, we talked about the sign at the last meeting, and I noted that we had $10,000 in the budget
Right.
to actually construct a sign and place it in the gateway. Fortunately, DHCD, or it's now Housing and Livable Community, yeah, Housing and Livable Communities has ruled that's an ineligible expense. So we had organized a small subcommittee to actually flesh that sign out, but unfortunately, we can't do that now. So Jane and her team had kicked around a number of ideas about how we could perhaps use that $10,000 for something else. And we did touch upon the wayfinding signage as something that would be useful for this committee and for the town to start to plan how we would improve the signage in that area. So that's what Victoria was presenting today, was sort of the beginnings of that kind of a concept. So we didn't want to turn back to 10,000 if we didn't have to. So,
So it's not,
So is it-
welcome to Dudley, this is just more, when you say wayfinding, like it's just gonna be this,
You know, at the corner of Schofield and West Main, there might be a post with, you know, a sign saying Nichols College this way, Town Hall this way,
Gotcha.
library this way.
not the big welcoming sign.
Not
to
the
Dudley.
big welcome sign. And then
Right.
it was gonna be for the construction for that big welcome sign that we were really looking at as well.
Okay,
But now it's more the foundation, the planning of,
Alright.
for White.
And the reason they denied it is because it was for physical construction, where the grant was for planning assistance, so.
okay.
so that's how that came about.
To make a wayfinding sign a little bit more effective, I think it'd be a good idea to add mileage, like distance from that sign.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you're at that intersection right there, Nichols, Shepherd Hill, the fire station, the town hall, they're all in the same direction.
Right.
So I think it'd be cool to differentiate a little bit.
I like that.
Great idea.
Paris, 3,000 miles east.
Tokyo,
You could have a couple joke ones in there if you want to be playful.
great. Awesome. Great, I don't have anything else to add unless somebody else on the committee does.
No?
Questions?
Thank
Thank
you
you again.
Thank you.
Forward to next month. All right, next up on the agenda, and you're more than welcome to stay, or if you need to go, I know you're all very busy. We only have a couple more things on the agenda. Bill, town planner update.
You received notice that you have received an award
We.
for economic
Yes.
development planning from the Central Mass Regional Planning Commission.
No,
So,
that was a nice email to get, wasn't
yeah, I
it?
know. And I think it's great because you've done a lot of work over the years. It's nice to get recognized for all that planning that we've been doing. And I appreciate CMRPC, recognizing that as well and bestowing that award upon you. And so I do have the email from Carrie notifying us of the award. Just thought I'd print it out for you. The CMRPC would like to present that to us at Mount Wachusett at their annual meeting, and that will be June 13th at Mount Wachusett, and the second page has the time schedule. So I'm hoping that most of you would be able to attend. Do you want to describe, Jane, what's involved during the award meeting? Is it just a,
Usually they have some kind of optional activity. The optional activity, if you show up earlier, is you get to go on the ski lift up to the mountain and explore a bit. And then we issue the different awards. Like you said, this one is for economic development, and there's a citizen planner one, and several other categories. And then we have the dinner. So it's a way to be recognized for all the work you've done and to meet other people in the region and have a good meal.
So there are other awards that are given out for other different
There's probably
towns?
5 or 6 of them.
5 or 6?
I'd say, yeah.
Yeah, I plan on attending. Getting a little close to my bedtime at 8:30, but we'll figure that out, right? Have to sleep in the night before, Mark.
do you need like a number of people from town, or?
Yeah, we were planning on having at least 2 tables of 8 to 10 people. If you just let us know if you need a 3rd table.
Okay.
Awesome.
So if you would get back to me, if you plan to attend, then I'll forward that information
Okay.
up to CMRPC.
Yep, I will. I'll be there. And I believe Robin, Dr. Fricall, said that she
Yes.
would attend as well.
Yes, good,
Anybody else, that'd be awesome. The more the better.
good. The other thing that's going on with CMRPC again is an application for a master plan. Mark, you'd be interested in knowing this from all your years on the planning board. Were you involved in the original plan?
Master plan, yeah.
Right, so that plan is from 2000, and CMRPC is assisting us in preparing an application for funding a new plan under the same program that the Gateway was funded. That's due, I think, June 5th, the deadline for that application. So they'll be submitting an application for the town to prepare a master plan, and we'd be happy to use CMRPC to prepare that plan since they know the town so well. And we don't have an estimate yet, that's still to be determined, but so that hopefully would be funded as well, and the town would have an opportunity to update its very old master plan.
Awesome.
And then
When did the last master plan, what was the expiration of the last master plan?
they don't expire,
Okay,
but most towns update them about every 10 years.
yeah.
So we're well overdue. And it's so old now, nobody really refers to it, so it's
Yeah, the last time it was updated was when?
2000.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So by the
might
time
have
we
been
get the new one done, it'll be over. What's that?
Yeah, that might have been the one I was involved in.
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
Wow, okay.
24 years ago. Jeez. Wow. So we have
I'm not that old, but
grammar
I'm
school.
24.
He's 20.
I'm actually not that old.
You are. I know, Ricky. Oh, my goodness
And then
gracious.
the last item is town meeting last night. They took 2 actions. One is they approved the lease with Mass DOT for the rail trail. So we can now proceed with paving the trail. But we're under a very tight time frame. That work has to be completed by June 30th. So we're hoping that we can actually get that done in time, or if not, we'll have to turn the money back. And then they also approved a bylaw for shared driveway standards, which really doesn't affect the community that much, but I thought I'd just mention it to you as something that, it's a zoning bylaw amendment. Occasionally, the planning board would get proposals in for shared driveways and without any real criteria for how they would be constructed and approved. So this new bylaw will take care of that. Jane, you were interested in the short-term rental
Yes,
bylaw. That didn't make it to the warrant, unfortunately, this time, but hopefully
okay,
in the fall, maybe that will come up again.
very good.
We did go with the general bylaw.
Okay.
For the planning board. So Jane had prepared 2 sample short-term rental bylaws. One is the zoning and one is the general bylaw. And it was referred to the planning board to complete that. And in fact, the planning board did submit a full version to the selectmen, who thought that it would be better to wait for the fall for that to go forward, so,
That was for inspection of such properties, right?
yes, primarily. Register, inspections,
Right.
oversight. Yeah. Okay, that's all that I had.
Awesome, thanks, Bill. All righty. Now, any open discussion? Does any member of the committee have something that they would like to bring up? No? If not, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Okay?
Aye, okay. The meeting of the Dudley Economic Development Committee is now over. It's 11:33. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it.